Hello YouTube, it's Az for the win, and in this video I asked 100 Geometry Dash players what is the best level of all time. I tried to pick an even mix of content creators, players, creators, star grinders, and some of my friends. Stick around to see if your favourite level was chosen. And without further ado, let's get on with my opinion. In my opinion, I believe that Lonely Travel by Funny Game is the best level in the game. This is because I really prefer slow levels. That's exactly how to describe this level. I really like the theming and how every part is monochromatic until the very end when you get the burst of colour when you've beaten the level. Even with the same colour combination, every part seems to have its own different theme, and I particularly really like the wave part where it resembles watching an old film. Funny Game did a really good job with this level, and it actually spawned the XL level trend. There are thousands of XL levels now. Although Tetrix was a really long level, Lonely Travel was one of the first 6-minute plus levels that spawned a bunch of other levels, a bunch of other travel levels, and of course, Funny Game is one of the greats. His level's gotta be on the list.
I think the best level of Geometry Dash at this moment is Dreamflower by Xender Given Knots. Just like an amazing easy demon that encapsulates like the best things on any GD level. Decoration is amazing, everything goes together really well, transitions are amazing, the song is amazing, the gameplay is also pretty amazing. Everything about this level I love, and I love the transitions a lot, love just everything about this level. I recommend this as like just if you want to do a demon, just do this demon. That demon will be definitely worth it, and it gives you a nice feeling.
My favorite level in the game is Dreamflower because of the amazing atmosphere and smooth. My favorite level in the game is Dreamflower because of the amazing atmosphere and smooth animations that give off a vibe like no other level can. Money on my hair, that means money on my mind.
In my opinion, the best GD level would be Collab level, only because of how well everything is executed. The theme is just perfect, the atmosphere is disturbing in a way that makes you actually feel uncomfortable, and I think Minecap did a really fucking good job with it, so props to him. That's what I think the best GD level is.
Best GD level. To me, if you go on the more objective side, the best GD level has to represent what the game is all about. It has to be something you can show to people outside of the game. I would generally put top 1 levels in this category, and the one that clearly put this game in the stratosphere for me has to be levels like Bloodbath and everything that is linked to it, like Cataclysm or Bloodlust. I would consider them to be the best levels of this game simply because of their influence it had on the game back then. They may not be as beautiful or complex as, say, Limbo, which will be my current best level, but they left their mark on the game, and just anyone outside of the game just recognizes them. But if I had to go on a more personal favorite, I think Psychosis by Heinz comes to mind, or stuff that he made during 2.0. Or Cheesecake by Defiant, I don't know how to say his name, that got me into building in the first place.
In my opinion, Rust by Nature is the best level in the game because it is incredibly consistent, the atmosphere is amazing, like getting to the last cube from the beginning is genuinely like a feeling like no other. There is no other level like it, it is just perfect in every way. It is very satisfying to pull off as well. And you can get progress really quickly, which is even better because it gives you even more motivation to keep playing.
It's hard to choose a best level from so many levels in GD, but I think it would have to be either a Tamain or a Presta level, just because I love the type of structures and flow of gameplay they both use. I'm gonna go with Sightless by Presta though. Everything from the block designs, the colors, gameplay, and the story the level tells is just phenomenal in my opinion.
Nostalgic Journey by Team Throwback is the greatest level of all time, and I might be biased because I hosted the level, but I have good reasons to think so. First of all, the song Nostalgic Journey is absolutely amazing. Singularity by Dunder Patrolin is one of the greatest songs on Newgrounds and of all time. It has a great sense of adventure while feeling a lot of energy and a lot of emotion in it, and I think Nostalgic Journey encapsulates that energy absolutely perfectly. The atmosphere in Nostalgic Journey is absolutely amazing and works perfectly with the song. I think the deco is all really great, and although it's all 1.0 styled, none of it is messy, and it just looks really nice. It has really creative designs too. I can't talk about Nostalgic Journey without mentioning the gameplay, because absolutely every part in the level is amazing to play. Super fun, super energetic, and it's just a blast. Every part in Nostalgic Journey was worked on so much that through the entire 5.5 minutes, there are very little to any mistakes in the level because of how much was put into every single detail. And I honestly think that's why Nostalgic Journey is the greatest level in the game.
Okay, hi. So, I think the best level in Geometry Dash, in my opinion, is Gravity by Emza. The level is very unique in its decoration. The level is very good gameplay-wise. It's a sequel to Moment, and it's very fun. It's just very fun to play from zero. It's very fun to do runs on. Despite some difficult parts and choke points, it does a wave game mode. It's pretty good.
I think Nelv is the best level in the game. The gameplay, deco, and the song all work together so perfectly to create such an intense and incredible experience that just can't be replicated with any other level. The gameplay flows super well, and it's incredibly satisfying to play. The deco is so diverse, yet not a single part feels out of place, and it works so well to create such an amazing atmosphere. The song is what really brings this level to life. I don't even know how to describe it, it's just perfect for the level. Honestly, in my opinion, I don't think there will ever be another level that will ever top Nelv.
My favorite level is Nelv by Sergei Sturdianid and Nadosa. I just think it has a really unique atmosphere and it just recreates the source material in a masterful way. It looks absolutely fantastic, but I feel like the gameplay is where it truly shines. It takes you on like a really intense journey with some of the most intense like break parts, like the mountain. I will never stop loving the mountain. The mountain is probably one of my favorite parts in GD just as a whole. It's really cool. And it creates such pressure that I don't really think any other level manages to replicate, which is why I think it is the best level. I know it's a very generic pick, but I've had such a crazy experience with it that I just can't help but not love it.
It's Nelv. I think the visuals are the greatest in any level ever, nothing even comes close. The gameplay is way too hard for me to play, but from a viewing standpoint it's really fun to watch. Every victor I've seen has said nothing but good things about the gameplay.
In my opinion, the best level in the game is Nelv by Sergei Nadosa and Dianir. It's not particularly the best looking level in the game. I would argue that a lot of levels that have a rich concept or that its decoration is for open interpretation are like way better than Nelv. For example, I would say that the best looking level in the game would be the National Anthem by Gecko, which concept, fucking unconventional decoration, randomness, chaos song, which is like one of my favorite albums ever. I would say that's the best looking level in the game. I also want to mention levels that have like a rich concept, for example, Requiem, I Never Dream, White Space. There's a lot of conceptually rich levels that I really enjoy, and I think those are the best looking levels in the game. But Nelv stands above the National Anthem by Gecko because of its playability. I wouldn't even say that Nelv is the most fun Extreme Demon. I would argue that Killbot is like way more fun than Nelv. But I think that Nelv is a perfect mix of basically everything. It's a pitch perfect adaptation of the music video by Silent Room. It has phenomenal gameplay that complements every single part of the song, intensity, with the gameplay, difficulty, everything perfectly. And I feel like the artist of the song being credited at the end, like it's definitely deserved because this level is so well connected with the song that it just amazes me. Sergei really made a masterpiece with the gameplay. It's fun, it's great. You don't know how good the Nelv experience is until you finish it. It took me a while to grow on me, but it's definitely, in my opinion, the best level in the game.
The game is Stereo Madness, even though this might seem like the stupidest choice, but people don't seem to realize how influential this level is to the game. If it didn't exist, then probably the whole game wouldn't exist either. Think about that. Without the first level, there won't be a second level. How crazy is that?
Okay, but wasn't Ultimate Destruction technically the first level?
Shut up.
My favorite level is Light It Up because it has a very awesome song and the gameplay and the deco match the intensity of it. I'm also a fan of how the gameplay is like hold gameplay. I think that's really cool. And it also kind of matches how the song goes, so I think it's really awesome.
If I had to pick one level to be my favorite in this entire game, I think I would pick Samifying's Hard Demon Blast Furnace. This level is a 2.0 level, and the amount of intensity that it captures for 2.0 when we didn't even have 4 times speed or anything like that, I think is truly impressive. And I think Sammy made a truly historic level with that.
I personally think that Verdant Landscape is one of the best extreme, personally my favorite extreme in the entire game. It is 11th on the list, and whilst being that difficult, it keeps its enjoyability. It is still so fun. The gameplay is amazing. The balancing is like fine. It's like perfect almost. It looks nice in my opinion, and it just flows really well. The only downside, I guess you could say, is maybe the learning process because it's incredibly hard to learn, but I think it pays off when you do learn it because of how satisfying the gameplay is.
Verdant Landscape. Honestly, this level caught my eye when I first saw it.
Windy Landscape has always been a favorite of mine, and to see it have a remake that's also very hard with an amazing song and great decoration, it would have been a crime not to play it. Before I got into the tedious learning process, I watched completions of it over and over again, and I couldn't get over how much of a positive vibe I got from the level. The song, the decoration, and the fast-paced gameplay really did it for me. It had a lot of charm and brings back early 2.1 vibes, which I greatly appreciate because that was around the time I started getting back into the game again. The gameplay is absolutely incredible too. I never got bored playing it. It contains so many fun aspects, and I just loved it. I really wish I didn't get unlucky though, because I found myself getting very frustrated at times, which I kind of expected considering how hard the level is. Overall, I think Verdant Landscape is currently, in my opinion, the best level on the list simply because it brought me feelings that I never usually feel when watching most extreme demons that are released nowadays. I think it's great because it does something different than the norm, and seeing such a level so high on the list is a great refresher.
Alright, it was kind of hard. It was so fucking hard to decide the best level in the game, but I'm here to say something big. And I'd like to say that the best GD level is Unity. I do think Unity is the best level in the game currently. It is all because why not? Yeah, it's pretty deserved actually. Most of early 2.0 levels had a generic and glow styles mostly, which might be looking kind of boring to see, you know? Because they used to deal with that kinds of creating styles only. But like, when this level firstly comes out back then, it was more like a revolution for all of them in the community. Just consider of how detailed this level is for its made in 2.0 with like various concept and theme they put into it, like a arcade and pixel art or something. So conclusion, it is not only a big collab between like one of the talented creators like Traxxas and Funny Game, but also reminds us of our unforgettable memories, nostalgias nowadays. Yeah, that's it. Cool.
Whoa, it's Woolsey. Let me tell you about the best Geometry Dash level in the game, Vapored by Sapunj. It may be a puny 2-star, but it packs a punch with the pinching pyramids, the vibey colours, and the trippy surroundings that give this level a miscellaneous vibe that no other creator can really match. Sapunj has always been ahead of his time.
I think it's really hard to pick a best overall GD level. Most levels are trying to do completely different things from each other, but if I had to pick one, and I imagine this will be pretty common on the rest of this list, I'd probably go with White Space by Xender Game. This level is impressive for many reasons, but I think one of the main reasons is that it's got a narrative built into it. This level is by no means the first level to have a narrative built into it, but I think it has the most care put into its narrative. Since this level was first previewed, narratives in GD levels have become pretty common. Well, maybe not common, but certainly not uncommon. However, even if you got rid of the narrative and the story that's in this level, I'd still probably pick it to be the best overall GD level, just because it's that good. It doesn't even need the narrative. The narrative in no way carries this level. The only thing you can really knock this level for is its gameplay, which, while it's not bad, it's just not amazing. It's not anything special. But still, I think this is overall the best level in the game.
For the best GD level, in my opinion, it's White Space. It can be just another opinion, but the gameplay itself already tells too much because it doesn't feel like a normal GD level. All the elements are like a structure that you can actually hop on. It feels like you're literally inside the story that it's telling. Besides the transition being flawless, the details are amazing, everything, even the smallest of the details are awesome. Same thing for effects, like I never thought someone could like make a match between effects, details, and gameplay so well. It makes feel like Xender really made with his heart and soul. It's the best level, at least for now.
If I were to give my opinion on what I think the best level in Geometry Dash is, in my opinion, the best level is probably White Space by Xender Game. I really think that the decoration is like fantastic. The animation is like perfect. I know it's probably a very generic opinion, but that's what I think the best level is. My favorite level, not necessarily the best level, is either Sour Cream 2 or Photovoltaic 2. I find them both very fun. And I think that Photovoltaic 2 is very engaging gameplay and just everything I like. It might not be super balanced on high frame rates, but on 60 it's kind of fun and nice. And Sour Cream 2 had a large impact on my opinions on levels and was very inspirational to me back when it came out. I thought it was a very, very cool level. Both of those levels I have a large history with and have enjoyed for a very long time.
In my opinion, the best level in GD is White Space by Xender Game due to its unmatched color combinations and its dynamic movements all throughout the level. No level does it better than this.
White Space. I'm no connoisseur when it comes to gameplay or the impact a level has on the community, but when it comes to deco, I'd have to say White Space is my favourite. In terms of pure quality and effort, few levels even come close. It's extremely unique, but doesn't suffer from any major execution issues. It, of course, has some minor nitpicks that you could point out, but it proves how visually stunning the level can be when someone like Xender, a person with a total control over the editor, pours hundreds of hours into creating a complete manifestation of their vision.
White Space by Xender. This, in my opinion, is currently the best level in the game by a landslide. Well, where do I start with this level? Everything is nearly perfect about it. The level features high quality designs, consistent theming, consistently unique assets, and amazing transitions. This level as a whole looks nothing like Geometry Dash, which just makes it that much more special in my opinion. Now for the gameplay. Although gameplay isn't normally a big factor for me when judging a level's quality, I think White Space has good gameplay that makes the level accessible to the majority of the community.
Hey there. My favorite level is, rather unsurprisingly, Firework, the Extreme Demon. I just think that the basically perfect gameplay with like no spam and no memory combined with the incredible song and decoration give it like the perfect atmosphere for a hard level, and it's like incredibly enjoyable compared to anything around it, and that's what in my opinion makes it the best level in the game.
Right now my favorite level in GD is Firework because this level has absolutely outstanding deco and amazing gameplay. Once you learn this, it can be one of the best experiences you can have with the game.
Overall, Firework is by far my favorite level I've ever experienced. The sheer intensity leading up to the drop sections give the level a huge intimidation factor. The decoration and flow of the parts work perfectly with the song, and the same could be said for the synced clicks. Every part is easy to memorize while still being really hard to pull off. Near the end, the level feels like an almost grand finale to the journey that you've endured through this whole time. As from experience, fails always feel like the player's fault, and the level has almost zero bugs, which is amazing for such a complicated level. Trick also played a massive part in making the level a lot more fun and playable, so props to him. To conclude, the theming and atmosphere of Firework is the first thing I always see in it. The spiders and flashing lights give the level a feel that no other level has given me from everything I've played.
In my opinion, the best level of Geometry Dash, at least in this year, is Blood Swamps by AP Team. For me, Blood Swamps is currently the best AP Team project, even surpassing Apocalyptic Trilogy. Don't get me wrong guys, Apocalyptic Trilogy is still an amazing level, but I think that Blood Swamps is even better because it has a spectacular decoration, also is very consistent, and the theming is totally unique in my opinion. The gameplay looks very fun, it's very satisfying to watch. I mean, I'm not going to play that because I'm so bad with this game, but I think that in general is very decent. Also, this gameplay in my opinion has one of the best things that I ever seen in Geometry Dash. I have a part in Blood Swamps and I can assure you that when the level is finished, you will love it a lot.
My favorite level is Ultraviolence by Xender. It's not really even a question for me. Like, you might be thinking, well, isn't it White Space, guys? It's White Space this way, but in my opinion, White Space is like a movie you're watching. Like, it doesn't really feel like a Geometry Dash level. Now, Ultraviolence, on the other hand, is just like the perfect atmosphere. It just builds up this like awesome momentum, just like flying through. It's like stuff's like everywhere. It's like this like factory hell or something. And like you're just slowly building up to this boss. And then the boss is just insane. And it's like an accessible level. It's a medium demon, like most people can do it, like the average like person in the community, and I think it's just like perfectly just feels like a Geometry Dash level. Like White Space doesn't really feel like a level to me, although that would take the cake, but like the animation is just so smooth in Ultraviolence. It's so good. It's the atmosphere, everything. Xender Game's the GOAT.
I'd say the best level right now is Storming Summit. I am biased, I'll give you that. It's a Celeste level and I have like over 200 hours on it. It's one of my favorite platformers. I think the creators really nailed the feel of the original game. Like, the level just looks so good. I don't mind the gameplay too much either, but I know a lot of people despise the bouncing in the Storming Summit. It's not hard to see why. The amount of choke points is ridiculous. I mean, especially in the pre-drop. There's a balance update coming, so like I hope this gets fixed. Also, the third coin is funny as well, so yeah. Amazing level in almost every way.
I think the best level is Storming Summits, and anyone else who disagrees is wrong. It was so good that it actually got me to play Celeste and ended up being one of my favourite games of all time. The picture, atmosphere and everything else hits different. The song is also one of the best songs in the game and it fits really well in the level. Other than a few clicks in the pre-drop, everything else is just magnificent. Having the most fun gameplay in any extreme I've played, plus the deco in the song, makes it the best overall level.
My opinion, the best level in the game is Colorful Overnight, because it was made about 7 years ago and it still holds up today and is still awesome. Probably the most nostalgic level to me in the game, because I saw it when I was 10 years old and I still like it to this day. So
my favorite level in Geometry Dash is probably the insane demon Colorful Overnight by Boogie. Colorful Overnight is a 1.9 level and happens to be a sequel to the well-known and highly regarded level Windy Landscape. The reason I chose it as my favorite is probably due to its artistic simplicity, with the song complementing the decorations and the gameplay. It is a very unique level and I love it a lot.
Hey everyone, it's Zinc here. If I had to pick one level I'd say is the best, it'd be Killbot. I think that creators should always try to push the norm of what can be made in the editor, and Killbot was very ahead of its time when it was released, which led to not many people being fond of it until years later. Killbot is a remake of Chaotic Machine, but not a lot of people know that. I think it's important for remakes to not only improve upon what the original laid out, but also be high enough quality and different enough to stand on their own 2 feet. Killbot takes this idea and runs with it, to the point where it garners its own identity, which is something that not many other remakes can say. It's also impressive that the level has its own story or kind of theme to go along with it. The level is supposed to represent a computer virus that you have to fight back against. The song is chaotic and scary sounding, which is just like the level, of course, but the little details like the level laughing at you to the rhythm of the song is what makes this feel like a complete package. Extreme Demons are supposed to be the most intimidating levels in the entire game, and I can't think of another level that captures this idea more. Even though I'm not good enough to play Killbot myself, the majority of the victors say that this level is extremely fun to complete. What else is there to ask for?
I think the best level in Geometry Dash is Haramasokism by Irisu. For me, gameplay matters a lot when talking about the best levels in GD, and the gameplay in this level is phenomenal. It always feels fair and rewarding, because the more you play it, the more consistent it becomes, and pulling off the click pattern and the tight clicks is honestly the most fun I've ever had in GD. On top of that, the aesthetic of the level is great as well. It has clean and simple design and it feels very unique and thrilling. And of course the song is also amazing.
Hello. So the question I was asked was, what do I think the best level in GD is? I do not have the same favorite level as I do opinion on the best level. I think the best level relates in terms of quality objectively. The best level is a level that everyone can agree excels in all areas. Meanwhile, my favorite level might be a candidate for the best level, just something that makes me feel something when I play it. For that level, that is going to have to be Moment by Lexi for me. For the objective best level in terms of quality, I'm really stuck between Nelv, Requiem, and 666. Gonna have to go with Nelv probably just because of its decoration, gameplay. Everybody loves the deco. Most people love the gameplay. Everybody loves the song. I can name very few issues with Nelv, and one of them is playtesting. That's really it. Whereas Moment was one of those levels that for the first time in a very long time, I was very, very excited to play it. No level has done that for me the way Moment has in recent times.
So in my opinion, the best level in the game is Ocular Miracle, based off of what I've played. First of all, the gameplay is obviously really fun, but that's not all it takes for it to be my favorite extreme, you know what I mean? I think the balancing combined with the length really makes it for me, and then the third main reason is the song. The song is a huge factor in my opinion. I think levels with bad songs that have really good gameplay, you never want to play those. Meanwhile with Ocular Miracle, nope, it was never like that. The song's amazing, I love the song. It fits perfectly with the level. I love how there's like break parts and it kind of builds up to the drop parts and it gets really intense. And that's why the length's good, because it gets really intense. It's like 5.5 minutes long. It makes you feel something inside. It gets you in that flow state where they bring you to another world. And also, Diligence is honestly the most fun gameplay I've ever played. Pretty much flawless in my opinion. I love that part. The song is amazing in that part. Basically the best thing ever put in a level, you know. It's gonna be up there for me. And obviously the deco is pretty good. It's not like the greatest thing of all time. Some of it was built in 2017. What can you really expect? And it looks really good. I just love that level. That's why I think it's the best level of the game.
My favourite level is Iridium. I think it's innovative. Obviously the structure is green and green is cool, and there is some really hard wave parts, and it's so cool.
What do I think's the best level in GD? I'd have to say Goner by Lightning. Let's start with the song. It's an absolute banger and fits the level perfectly. The deck was very consistent towards its theme and is a breath of fresh air on your typical red extreme demon. The gameplay is fantastic. I absolutely love the balancing. The way I see it, there's 3 sections. The first cube, the middle section, and the wave. The first cube is heavily timing based and fairly difficult to get good at, but you do eventually get good at it with enough practice. The middle section is the easiest part of the level, although don't get me wrong, it's not free or anything. It's very intense, but fair, and you do pass this section most of the time. Wave takes the longest amount of time to learn, and it's a combination of both memory and skill. You feel like a total badass when you're doing it, and the best part is that it's consistent. And that's why I like the balancing so much. You start off with a really hard cube, you pass that, and then you have a fair shot at getting to the wave, which gives you a chance to beat the level. The lack of choke points and the level being incredibly satisfying to both watch and play is truly something amazing. Easy 10 out of 10 in my book.
Hey guys, it's Bgrim, and I'm here to say that Artificial Sin is the best level in the game because it is a one-of-a-kind experience. There is no other level that you can play that will provide like a better or on the same level of experience as that, because it's incredibly fun. There's no part that's like too hard or like is annoying. Nothing is like buggy. It's just the whole level is perfect. There's nothing bad about it, and it is aged incredibly well because that is really old. That level was made ages ago. I think it was actually the first top 1 on Pointer Crate, and it is still beautiful to this day. Those are my thoughts on the best level.
Artificial Ascent is the best Extreme Demon in my opinion. It's not too short and it's not too long, which makes the experience playing an actual Extreme Demon and not a challenge or an endless travel around the world. It's very well balanced and has almost 0 choke points. The music fits perfect and it's not an overused song in Extreme Demons. About the gameplay, I can say that it's very consistent and satisfying with all the colored block design. The gameplay is different than other Extreme Demons these days, which makes the level very original. Everyone on this collab made a great theme part which gets progressively deeper in your mind. As a 13-year-old kid, I always had a feeling about this level. It gave me chills, especially at the second half of the level. Playing this level was the best time I ever had in Geometry Dash. Even though I died at the last duel, I never criticized about the level when I died because it's perfect.
Want Me by Para combines a very unique gameplay construction with a chilling, yet simplistic atmosphere and design. The level reaches extreme demon difficulty without using a single spike or soul blade, which are the cornerstone obstacles of GD, creating an experience that can't be mapped onto any other. Unlike most levels of its difficulty, the level doesn't rely on fast-paced sections to create intensity, instead letting the gameplay, music and design tell their own story. Like most Para levels, you can feel how each part was directly inspired by the song to make something special, and Want Me is no exception.
My favorite demon level of all time would have to be Death Moon by Caustic or Funny Game, and my reasoning for that is pretty much entirely nostalgia based. I mean, I remember just every day on my way to school, I would play that level on a school bus and just try and beat it because at the time I was not very good. But, hey. Oh.
I have no idea what the best level is, probably one of the best ones by Funny Game. The only ones I remember are the boss fight level, being Serious, and Death Moon. Not sure if these are his best, but those are the ones I remember.
I think that Death Moon is the best D level because it was a banger when it came out and it still is a very good level nowadays. It inspired many creators and has a lot of remakes and inspired levels. Also the song is very good.
For me, the best level will be something visually cool of course, but mostly challenging and fun with a good song. My personal favourite levels are Interstellar Infant, Retention, and most Heinz Insane Demons. But objectively the best demon for everyone is probably Death Moon. Gameplay is very fun, the song is awesome, and visually it's extremely good, especially considering when it was made. The difficulty is perfect because a new player will find it challenging but not too hard, and even experienced players can enjoy it.
My favorite level in the game is In Rainbows by Elfritz. It's really sync based and it's very cool. I like the level. It's fun to play. That's why I like it.
Hello, my name is the Nerd Gamer, and my favorite level in the game is Puzzle Trials by Funny Game. This was my very first Insane Demon, and it prepared me for harder memory demons that I will do and enjoy. As for the level, it offers a bunch of different minigame type puzzles that you need to navigate through in order to then defeat a boss fight and delete the software application named PuzzleTrials.exe. Some of those minigames include Minesweeper, where you need to navigate the invisible mines, and Triple Mode, where you need to focus on 3 separate cubes along sections of obstacles to pass it. After all this comes the intense boss fight at the end, whose attacks consist of boxes blocking the path, body attacks, and ground floor throws and drops. In the end, Funny Game, with its incredible originality, created everything I love in a level, from challenging gameplay to outstanding visuals, as well as a great sync and a cohesive team throughout.
My favorite level in the entire game is Forest Temple by Michigan. A lot of you already know this, but it's such an amazing level because each section focuses on one different gameplay mode. There's not a whole lot of transitions. However, with that said, each section is equally balanced. It goes really well to the song. It has this kind of creepy atmosphere like the Forest Temple had in the original Zelda Ocarina of Time that it's based on, and it's just awesome. The song's awesome, the level's awesome, it looks really good considering how basic it is, and it's just, absolutely love it. It pushes all my buttons in the right way. Amazing level.
Hey, this is Malzy, and the best level that I think is in the game is Retention. The song's really good, and just the way the level flows and just syncs with the music. It's such a different style of level than what we see today, and that one gives me the most nostalgia. Reasonably difficult enough to be fun, but not too mind-numbingly hard, so yeah, that's it.
Okay, so the thing about this question is, there's a lot of levels I would consider one of my favourite levels. It's hard to decide, but honestly I think it goes to Retention by Woogie, because even though it's quite old, the gameplay is some of the best gameplay I think I've ever played in an Extreme. It's so satisfying, like, all the way through it. And honestly, the decoration is aged quite well considering it's like a good few years old now. So I think my favourite level in the game is that.
So obviously the idea of a best GD level is going to change depending on who you ask. For some people that might be whatever the hardest demon is. Others might just pick a level with crazy decorations that no one would have thought was possible 4 years ago. Personally, I'm going to have to go with Castlevania by Sir Punj and everyone else. It is an absolutely brilliant level. I love the branching paths. I think that's such a cool idea. It encourages exploration. It adds so much replayability to the level. Along with that, just the decoration is really nice. The gameplay is great. The whole thing is just so well put together. But I just love the branching paths because, like, it feels like every hard featured level you play nowadays, if you jump anywhere other than where the creator intended, you just immediately get killed. Although with Castlevania, you can just do whatever the hell you want and it'll probably just land on a new path. If you're having trouble with one area, you can just try something else, or you can find every single path, do boss fights, whatnot, and then upload it to YouTube. God, it's such a cool level.
The best level for me is definitely Castlevania. It's a completely unique experience. I've never played anything quite like it. I had so much fun exploring all the routes and figuring out how to get the coins.
Castlevania is by far the best level ever made, no contest, okay? So it's like an open world experience, right? So the gameplay is crazy because of that. It's some of the most fun I've ever had playing Geometry Dash. I remember before any like full video of the level got released, I was like grinding this level and seeing what secret routes worked and what didn't. Now obviously there's some walls, some keys. I don't like that. However, the rest of the level, like the coin routes, every single boss, very fun. You don't see that a lot with boss fights. The decoration, somehow they managed to keep it consistently good throughout the level. Some of my favorite parts are the parts with like the hands, satanic circles, all that shit, right? So, sync, I mean, I get how they were able to sync it. You know, it's just a one-time speed throughout the entire level. Makes a lot of sense. Banger decision. Not only is it Sir Ponge's best, but it's the best level ever made, period.
My favorite level, I would say, would be Castlevania. The fact that you can explore the whole level as you wish is just awesome. The designs of each part are unique and it feels like you're exploring a whole castle. For example, at the top of the level where you fight the Reaper, it really feels like you're outside, and when you're at the very bottom of the castle, it really feels like you're underground. On top of that, the song fits the atmosphere so well. It just has this very mysterious and magical vibe which I love. and the book boss fight is just so cool. Anyhow, there's so much to talk about this level that it'd take me hours to go through everything, and I highly recommend you try this level for yourself to get the full experience. And don't worry about lag, because somehow they've managed to optimize it great, even if it has 400,000 objects. So yeah, overall my favorite GD level.
Honestly, it's a pretty easy choice for me. It's Castlevania by Sir Punjinko. Gameplay wise, it's not fantastic. A lot of the parts feel a little janky, and some of the alt parts are just annoying to get, but that's literally the only complaint. The style of the level is fantastic, the consistency of it mixed with just how many themes it goes for is impressive, and it all looks good. The music sync is simple but really damn good, and having a map at the end of the level is so cool. And this would be fine enough, but the fact that the level splits up into so many unique paths that crisscross with each other consistently, and all of the above still applies, is what makes this level so damn cool. It all feels so consistent. There is a story and a logical layout to the whole level and its layers. It is genuinely so cool that this is possible, and this level is a joy to explore in practice mode. Also, let's not forget all the bosses, which are just all great and completely unique. Yeah, I absolutely adore the presentation of this level and what it goes for, and goddamn, it's also memorable. It has like 20 parts, and after rewatching it to write this, it's insane how I still remembered pretty much every one of them, at least visually. My one and only major gripe with this level is that all of the potential, effort and creativity on this level could have been used to create a fantastic standalone game. But hey, when you think about it, that's more of a positive for this level than it is a negative.
My favorite level in Geometry Dash is Save As by Pock, as I feel like it truly shows that Geometry Dash can be taken seriously as an art form. I know this has been the topic of discussion for quite a while on Twitter, and I know I can't really add too much to the conversation, but I think it's really unfortunate how liking this level is such a hot take, because we're applying the standards that we have on gameplay and on decoration to a level that I feel has transcended them entirely. And I also don't think I've gotten this emotional over a Geometry Dash level, and I'm not afraid to admit that. So yeah, in my opinion, Save As is the best Geometry Dash level.
When I was asked to give my thoughts on what I thought the best level in GD was, I was overwhelmed with the number of levels I consider to be the greatest the game has ever seen. As I'm recording this last minute, there was one level on my mind for most of the time, and that would be Dizzying Heights by a former GD moderator and extremely talented creator by the name of Flash. This is definitely one of the greatest easy demons in recent times, and possibly one of the greatest easy demons ever built. This level is so good, it makes me sad I'll never make anything as amazing as this level is. This level takes you on a little journey through the sky. The amount of subtle details is what makes this level shine, like how the plant-related objects flow with the windy backgrounds. When it comes to minimalistic design, Dizzying Heights is definitely one of the best levels that shows this. Flash was able to do so much with so little details. To the block designs, to the backgrounds, to the colors, they all worked super well together despite being so simplistic and minimal. Not to mention the progression of the level is flawless. Flash really used the song to its fullest potential and made a brilliant work of art from it. Dizzying Heights truly is one of a kind.
Requiem is the best level, easily. However, the gameplay is astonishing. It is one of the best gameplays you will find in almost any level. Sure, definitely any demon, in my opinion. I had such a fun time playing it. It wasn't too hard, it wasn't too many choke points, it was just straight up pretty good level. Probably even learning it could be a bit tough, but you can do that pretty easily with either hitboxes or layout. After learning it, it pretty much just becomes like really fun, and I know some other people who have beaten it can agree with me on that. You can't really tell visually how it is, but when you get to playing it, it's really good and very fun, and definitely the best extreme demon in my opinion.
Alright, so this wasn't an easy question. Question wasn't favorite level, it was what's the best level. So after much deliberation, I came to the conclusion that it might just be Nine Circles. Nine Circles, why? Because it's had a massive impact on both the creating community and the playing community. The creating community in that the trend started and never ended, and it's been going for like 5 to 6 years. And it's still very much a thing today after so long. So I find that very impressive. It's an incredibly long trend, and it's probably never gonna die, you know? So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. It's those levels that are very easy to make, and that it can be very fun because it's wave, and that are just very playable and also very easy to decorate, and they're just very efficient levels. And I like that a lot. So that's why I'm picking Nine Circles. There's also Sonic Wave, and that's where the impact on the playing community comes in, because the race to verify Sonic Wave was such a huge thing for so many years, and there was so many remakes and stuff like that, and Now there's even Sakupin circles that was verified. I mean, what the hell? You know, it's had such an impact on the game. I find it insane. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with 9 circles there.
I think the best level in Geometry Dash is Mind Control by Z Deadlocks and more, mainly because of the nostalgia that the level has. The gameplay, the style of deco, and the song really give off the vibes of an old 1.9 level, and I like that a lot.
Hey everyone, this is Flub here, and my favorite level of Geometry Dash ever is probably this really old level called Speed of Light by The Real Salad. I don't know why, but this was one of the first levels I really liked when I was younger, like when I was pretty new to the game. It's an easy demon, and pretty much it was my go-to level that I would play when like people were watching me, because like the music was cool. It was like Cataclysm music, you know, and it just made me feel like a pro at the game when I was really bad back then. And the level has inspired some levels of mine. Like I made one called Speed of Flight when I was like pretty new to the game. So overall, I think that was probably my favorite level. I think I even played it a few months ago just to get back to it. So yeah, that's my favorite level.
It's actually a really tough question because like I think Frozen Cave, Relevant and Retention are all solid 10s. So picking like one out of the 3 is just like tough, you know. But I am gonna have to say Frozen Cave solely because its gameplay is so unique, fun and consistent. And its decoration is stunning, especially in full detail. And the song is just an absolute banger as well, so like, yeah.
I would probably say the best level in the game is Prickly Pear by Vapen, since it hits the balance between clean, good decoration and consistently fun gameplay perfectly.
I think the best level in Geometry Dash is Sunset Sandstorm. It has this complete neglect over creating standards as a whole, and it just really does its own thing, and it has such an unorthodox decoration style that I absolutely love. I really like the atmosphere it sets as well. It really is like no other, and I've never really felt this intertwined with the theme as I did playing this level. I really like the gameplay. The use of repetition is fucking amazing. It has a really good way of diverting from it, which not a lot of levels are great at, and you know, they attempt to do what Sunset Sandstorm did, but just not as well, and I feel none of it lives up to the sheer like feeling you get playing the level. Another thing I think is really great about it is that it is one of the few levels that has a justified inspiration. A lot of levels claim to have an inspiration, but just kind of steal from a lot of stuff, and I feel that Sunset Sandstorm does a really good job at keeping it inspired off of something, but still completely diverting into its own thing. Yeah, I think it's a masterpiece, so if you're skillful enough, I highly suggest you play it.
Alright, I think the best level in the game is Tartarus. I think that the gameplay is super good for being top 5 or whatever it is now. I never really found any levels that difficult to be really fun, but Tartarus is the exception. I spent like 90k on the level, and I really didn't get bored of it. It's kind of crazy, to be honest. I still find the level fun even at the end. The pre-drop is kind of annoying, and the transitions between parts are kind of weird, but you kind of get used to it after a while. I kind of like the way the level is divided into 2 halves as well. You have like everything before 45, which you basically just have no chance of beating it. And then when you pass 45, you actually have a chance of beating it because the way the balancing works. Which I can understand why a lot of people wouldn't like, but I kind of like that, to be honest. Like, you get super nervous as soon as you pass 45. Really big test of nerve control. So I've basically only speaking about the gameplay so far, but the decoration itself is actually quite good, at least for the theme they were going for. I really like 1.9 levels, so I really like the decoration in Tartarus. And I like how easy it is to learn, because the decoration doesn't really get in the way of the gameplay too much. You can just kind of pick it up and do a run. That's another reason I kind of like the balancing, is like any new player, or not new player, but anyone who's beaten like an easy extreme can just pick it up and do like a 64 to 100 run. So yeah, that's why I think Tartarus is the best level in the game. Well, I wouldn't say it's objectively the best, but for me it's definitely my favorite level.
Hello everybody on AzaFTW's channel. I am here to display my opinion on what I think is the best level in GD. Well, you might not agree with it, but to me, the best level in GT is Supersonic by Xender Alpha and more. The reason why is very simple. It was not the first collab, it was not the best level to be existed, but it was a groundbreaking level to exist at that point. It showed a lot of big players at that point and big creators coming together to make one gigantic, well, piece of shit if we look back on it now, but to me, it is what started mega collabs.
Alright, so my favourite level is Carbon Combination. It's a list challenge, or at least it used to be. It's now on the legacy list, sadly. But yeah, I really like the level because the deco and the song work really well together. and it has a super calm but also intense atmosphere with sort of a space theme. It was also one of my first really difficult challenges I beat. I guess it kind of started my challenger's career, if you will. So yeah, it's just super memorable for me overall.
My favorite level in Geometry Dash is Project Reunion by Grenade of Tacos. Everything from the gameplay to the song is phenomenal, and it's such a feel-good level. Despite being made in the 1.9 servers, it holds up in today's standards, and I'd say it's even better than most 2.1 levels deco-wise. Even when playing from zero, I never got bored despite its XL length. Overall, it's one of my personal favorites, and I would recommend it to any player capable of going for an insane demon.
This is a really hard question to answer. There are so many awesome levels out there and so many different aspects that you could use to rank them. I don't think I could ever settle on a single one. Some levels that are definitely up there will be the following. Revolution by Funny Game. This level had a super huge impact on me back when it came out, and it really motivated me to build more levels back in the day. It did so many cool things before anyone else did them, and it's just such a memorable level overall. On top of that, it's also already super nostalgic for me. FFFFFF by Vlak. Playing this was simply one of the best experiences I've ever had in this game. I usually hate memory gameplay, but Vlak managed to make this super satisfying to pull off. Decoration wise, it also definitely has a unique feeling to it. I can't really call anything too similar. White Space by Xender. I don't think this is much of a surprise. My jaw was on the floor when looking at this level for the first time, and I've rewatched it about 1 billion times already. It still hasn't gotten boring. Both EXG and Broken Signal by Grax. Grax is just built different. Castlevania by Punjinko. The concept of this level is just way too cool, and the fact that they managed to pull off something this ambitious and complex is crazy to me. One of the most interesting and unique levels in the game for sure. Man, I've been thinking about it for a while, but it's so hard to say if there is an objectively best level in the game. If I had to pick one that I consider the best, I would go with Starpunk by Funky. But even then, I really don't think the best level truly exists. I feel like each individual level makes a different impression on every person. Like, my favourite level in the game, while I don't really entirely have one, is something like Blossom in the Night by Shimo. There are some other great ones like Dreamflower by Xender and Knots and Death Moon by Caustic, but I'm probably forgetting. There's definitely a lot more.
What is the best Geometry Dash level? In my opinion, it would have to be Omicron, so reason why I say Omicron is because it's balanced all the way through. It's an XL level. I'm just a huge fan of XL levels, and overall, there's like no hardest part. It's just that balance. Like, the gameplay is just really satisfying. It's just very, very consistent. It's also very accessible for being on the Xender list, and one of my personal favorites. Love it. It's one of the few levels I genuinely try to rebeat. So yeah.
Okay, so in the 2.0 days, there was this level called Dim Journey by Goose. It has a song called Come Alive. And I remember playing it non-stop because I was just really amazed by how Goose made his levels back then. I was invested in trying to do more stuff in the editor. It came out at a perfect time, I think. It also had a pretty cool boss fight at the end, a Goose boss fight. It was really creative, really colorful and fun. It's the first thing that came to mind, so I think this is my favorite level, yeah.
What's up? Welcome. I'm here with GMD Godfather Marcus, also known as GD Godmark. And so we're both going to be giving our takes on what the best level in Geometry Dash is. So, I'll go first. Personally, I think that is a very broad question. There could be a lot of levels that fit that category, right? So, I would have to say the best level in Geometry Dash is Esfera by Kiaz and Moore. And the reason for this is because that level just has a vibe like no other, you know? It encapsulates like all the different eras of the game somehow. Even though it doesn't particularly have those styles, it encapsulates every different like era of the game in one giant level with an absolute banger song. For that reason, I think it is the best level in the game. Thank you. What is your take?
Alright, this one's gonna be a little bit weird, but I'm going with Aerial Gleam, not necessarily for like, yes, there are other levels that I think are better, but just like especially what Kulik was able to do, given like what he had, just the deco is incredible, and the fact that there's less objects in the original is stupid. But yeah, I really like it. It's got like that kind of history. It's not like history that I like, not like controversial history, just history that everyone knows, like basic history.
It's true.
And it's one of those levels that some of them, you know, obviously got nerfed a lot. Some of them you're mad when they get nerfed and you're like, God damn it. This one
Blade of Justice.
Yeah. This one wasn't like that. This one was like, it's good how it is.
Yeah.
And it wasn't carried by difficulty, which is something with harder levels that are pretty rare. So
yeah, and something you got to appreciate about that. Sorry for interrupting, but like, is that like it went through like twice as many verifiers as Blade of Justice, and it's still like it didn't get nerfed, and it's a lot better than it was in its original state.
Yeah, exactly. It's a testament to like what you can do if you really just like listen to what people need instead of difficulty.
Exactly.
It still turn out great. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, the history part is also partly why I like S-Fair. That is a lot of history as well. Anyways, that wraps this up. Hello, YouTube. Thanks, Aza, for inviting me to this, and yeah, see you.
I think Limbo by Mindcap is really impressive, one of the best levels in GD. There are many aspects that made me like this level. The initial presentation of the level with a layout that seemed so chaotic was really intriguing, plus many of the layout creators adapted to unique and interesting visual elements that were eventually expanded upon and fully fleshed out by decorators, and the decoration is just fantastic, with mostly cooler spectrum of colours that work incredibly well in many parts. The team did a very good job fleshing out a lot of styles that match with one another in this level. The mech-like design for these parts I haven't really seen a lot of, so it's quite fresh. I like the switch up to the hotter colours towards the end, really embracing the climactic point in the song and the gameplay, being the iconic randomised key part. The song is a really unique choice, and although it's slightly repetitive, I think it somewhat makes sense in this level. Since it is memory, it feels like you're getting through things over and over, having to remember what's right and wrong. I also think that there's not many top 1 extreme demons that many people throughout the community are genuinely hyped for. It shows how Minecraft is a really great host to me, since he's able to build hype and live up to it with his projects. And this is probably one of the best examples of that.
What's up guys, Toppy's here, and I think the best level is Finger Dash, because that's the only thing that I can beat, right? Toppy noob, yeah. And that gameplay is enjoyable, and like, also the important thing is, there's no copyright. Content creator.
Hello, this is Azil. My friend Aza asked me to tell him what my favorite Geometry Dash level was. Now that is very hard for me to answer, because I have way too many hours in the game, probably not as many as him, but still way too many hours. However, if I had to choose one, I'm going to go with Falling Up by Kermal, not because it's like the best execution of a level ever, but because I have seen every single Kermal level make a major change in the way that we see the game and the development of new levels. Falling Up specifically, you see the city in Falling Up, that's reused in so many different places, like Future Funk, oh, there's so many of them. Of course, there are all these remakes of Falling Up that people think are just better executed, but it takes away from the magic of it, and that magic is why it's my favorite level. It changed so much about the game, and I mean, me as a kid, I watched that level in like 8th grade all the time. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. So I don't think it can be understated how important it was to me and to the community.
Falling Up is my favorite GD level because it made me feel very emotional, especially during the very last drop.
Picking a favorite level is ridiculously hard for me because, let's be honest, the amount of pure bangers that have come out over this game's history, and especially in the last couple years, is absolutely insane. I narrowed down my list to about 20 contenders that I could choose depending on my mood, and out of these, right now the one I want to play the most is Mastermind by Heinz. For starters, it's one of the most fun levels in the game that has a level of accessibility that most above average players can meet. Heinz's gameplay can be controversial amongst the community, but I think Mastermind is easily his most fun level, even with some decent competition in levels like Night Terror, Psychosis, and Infernoplex. Of course, it also features Heinz's best decoration, which makes sense because it's his newest work. Heinz has always had a knack for making gameplay and colors that match the intensity of the song he's using perfectly, and this is best displayed here. Almost every noise or sound in the song has a corresponding click or pulse in the game, which many creators strive to do but often fall short of getting a good balance between the two. It's genuinely just a level that makes me happy to be playing, which I can say about a lot of levels, but Mastermind's elite level of polish and replayability made it my choice for my favorite level at the time of writing this.
My favorite level is definitely Flight by Rafer. It's been my favorite level for years, and every time I play it, it feels like I'm in a Disney movie. So,
D by Bo. That level is just special because once you beat it, it feels like you've permanently unlocked the muscle memory. Like, I swear I could come back in 20 or 25 years and remember how to play D. I know it doesn't have the most revolutionary deco or gameplay, but the experience and the replayability makes it stand out over every level I've ever played.
My favorite level in the game is Fragile by far. Many people see this as just an extended version of Koareta, but I see it as much more. Fragile is what Koa should have been, and everything in the level is just an improvement from Koa. The decoration on every part is fantastic, and it's really good to look at. The atmosphere of the level is really intimidating, but chill at the same time, and once you reach the extension after Koa, it feels like a build-up to something big, like a finale. The level has a perfect aura, the song is fantastic, and I had a great experience with it. I can say it's by far my favorite level in the game, and it's made a huge impact on me cementing myself as a top player.
Alright, so for the best GD level of all time, I think I would have to consider a lot of the gameplay and a lot of the decoration, the theming, and the music choice, how well it is being cohesive to the actual level, and its originality. Like, all those combined, I think would sum up my fair criticisms of what is considered the best level. I think so far, from what I've played, the best GD level, in my opinion, would probably be Cloud Give Way by Subwoofer. At least to me, if I had to pick like a really, really good one, I think that would be probably my best recommendation. Keep in mind, I played a shit ton of Easy Demons. I played a lot of Easy Demons. I think my favorite Easy Demon has to be a Cloud Give Way by Subwoofer. I never have been a fond of XL levels at all. Like, that's just my personal taste, because it was more of like an endurance test rather than skill at all. Like, it's more of just an endurance test. The Cloud Give Way is such a nice stroll through the atmosphere of the whole entire level. It is such a good extension of what an XL Easy Demon should be. In my opinion, I think the Cloud Gives Way one of, if not the best levels I've ever played. I know there's a lot of good others, like Dreamflower, Castlevania, there's Espionage as well by Subwoofer, there's Rafer levels out there. From the level that I've played so far, my experience, I think the Cloud Give Way, my favorite level, man. It's such a good banger. I definitely recommend it.
At the moment, my favourite level has to be Reanimate by ILNM. Its unique and fast-paced gameplay, excellent art, polished transitions and creative parts such as W11's part really make it stand out for me. I have also always really enjoyed the song, and the creators did a great job bringing out its different elements through the level. The overall inspiration from Death Moon by Funny Game and Reanimation by Terron was also clear and very well utilised.
I think that the best level in Geometry Dash is Eternal Vehemence by Vrimer. It's a level that manages to stay super unique and engaging throughout over 5 minutes of gameplay. Every single part is super fun and works amazing with the song. It's also a level that has a surprising amount of replay value, which is very rare to see in Geometry Dash. In addition to 3 coins, which are already super tricky to get, there's a bunch of achievements you can get by doing certain parts differently, and it makes you want to play the level over and over again, which I definitely do because of how good of a level it is.
As for my favourite level, or what I think is the best level, I'll go with Eternal Vehemence by Vrimer. This is mainly because it's very accessible, has great and widely varied deco, and stays interesting the whole way through.
Personally, the most important and vital element to any level's quality is how well it represents the song that's used in the background. And in that aspect, there are quite a few levels very close to the top. Levels like Reanimation, Nightlight, Suratet, and The Cloud's Giveaway are some examples that come to mind that particularly excel in that aspect, but none in my opinion do it better than Marathon by Wio Wio Tio and Heinz. It uses the song Troubles by Slate 10 and reflects it practically perfectly in every way. Specifically, I want to mention the intensity of the level, and how well it slowly builds up throughout the level's runtime, without needing to change the gameplay speed very often. It manages to still feel rushed, as the intensity builds up slowly throughout the level. Its gameplay being extremely varied throughout while still only using one game mode only adds to how further sections of the level can feel more tense while playing, despite never having to change much mechanically. It all builds up to my absolute favorite ending section in any level, being Mile 25. Utilizing repetition and working the gameplay around it. A gimmick a very minute number of levels play with and execute well, but not as well as what Wio made here. I could go on for a lot longer on the intricacies of why I absolutely adore this level to pieces, but that video would be way too long.
While I have a lot of levels that are special to me, like Death Moon, Lit Fuse, and Psychosis, I think the best GD level is definitely Mashup by JF. The choice to use an album preview as the song of the level is genius, and JF makes it work with tons of unique sections that you can imagine being fully completed levels. Lots of details are hidden through the parts, like being able to see the portal transition of the next section ahead of time when glitching out between the segments. My personal favorite parts within the level are probably the wavy purple section, just because I think it fits the song really well, and the toggle orb section where you rise up from the ground in search of the ship portal above you, because I think that's really cool. Each and every song in the album is completely fulfilled with different and vibrant interpretations in their short individual run times, and I think there's nothing else like it. Good job, JF.
Beautiful by Donut Copper is an unrated 2.0 medium demon that was released in 2016, and while I contested between a few different levels when thinking about my favourite level in the game, this level's resonant nature has always struck me in a special way. It's hard to discern to people exactly why I like this level so much. The fact that it's unrated is a pity. The level manages to encompass a great amount of different visual alterations while making all of them interesting and charming. It perfectly captures the creativity of its era. Not quite cohesive, and yet seeming entirely intentional and passionate in its design. The level perfectly shows momentum as well. Pre-drop mostly consists of solid dark objects that are unstructured before the level slowly builds on itself, approaching the climax, where the level completely offsets itself with sudden bursts of glow and colour. The dark outlines are still present and help flesh out and distinguish the designs to their brighter surroundings, but the level also remains transformative to the point where the second drop manages to echo the dark tones of the pre-drop while making amazing use of the movement options available to keep its intensity. Beautiful is a level I value greatly because of how well it can produce a sense of power and emotion when playing. Having spent around 2.5 thousand attempts on this level, I did not get bored of it at any point. The gameplay is slick and satisfying, and its decoration is rarely obstructive and always adds to its progression. The simplicity of its raw, uncompromising colours and unpolished designs is a faded love letter to a different world, and there is something deeply compelling about manoeuvring the corridors of a forgotten time of GD and seeing in them the echoes of inspiration, innovation, and what would come to serve as both for the levels that came after it.
So while there's a lot of great levels in Geometry Dash, a lot of very memorable ones that were a breakthrough for this game, in my opinion, the best Geometry Dash level would be a memorable note by Zero, because not only does it look great, it features design that's never been seen before in this game, but it also has a message, a very powerful message. It serves as a tribute to one of the most memorable players of Geometry Dash ever, Michigan, and I believe it's just overall, all aspects considered, my personal number one.
It will probably have to be Slaughterhouse. It's definitely the best top one we've had in a while, and I have, I guess, a personal connection to the level since I recorded the final showcase, and I've been close friends with both Space and Nico since way before the level was finished as well, so to see them both skyrocket in popularity because the level was awesome. I remember being in a call with Nico literally as he released the level to the servers, so yeah, it was just something I was very close to. It's also an awesome level for screenshots, which is so cool too.
Yo, what's up you two? My favorite level's Reverence, because its gameplay is sick, and its deco's sick, and its sync is sick, and yeah, it's the best level in the game, go play it.
Many people have asked me what my absolute favorite level in Geometry Dash is, and it is a very difficult question to answer for me since I like a lot of levels in the game, but if I'm going to be honest, it's Sour Cream 2. Sour Cream 2 is just one of those levels where there's absolutely no theme, but it does it correctly and it gives it a lot of charm. It's just a group of friends making a level for passion and enjoyment, and this is what I think more people should try doing. But anyways, this level is something really special to me because I don't think we have ever seen a level like this in 2.0 that can match the intensity that this level truly goes for. The level starts off right in the drop, which is something I never see people do, and it's very interesting to see someone try it. My favorite part is for sure Millipot's part, and I'll explain why. Basically, it's one of those parts that many people wanted to do in 2.0 or even now where they want to make something menacing and lots of things going around, very chaotic around the whole part, but we just couldn't do it at the time. But when I first saw this section in the level, I was genuinely impressed with how outstanding and incredible, because the fact that someone did something that many people wanted to do but couldn't is just incredible. It's astonishing. But the gameplay is also something I want to mention here, how it is very unique and it's stuff you never see anymore, because the gimmicks like, for example, the dual wave in Galvatron's part is something I don't think we have seen many people do often. The level is something overall just one of the most fun and amazing levels I have ever seen in my eyes, and this is why.
Hi, my name is Matthew Diesla, and the level I've chosen to discuss today is B by...
What for?
For me, B is an oddly personal level for me. I love it, and I have a lot of reasons that I love it, but I can't go into all those reasons today due to my short time, so I'll go over the basic three. Number one, the music. I love the way B's music goes. Something like this. It's pretty good. Second, I love the decoration. Funny bees are always a great thing. Not to mention the fact that they're pretty funny. And the yellow.
I started playing Geometry Dash in 1.8, but really started seeing the level editor's potential in 1.9.
Levels like Illusion by D-Very with the awesome moving lightning bolt effect in the background, or Hyper Arcade by Etzer with extremely well done game recreations for each part. At this point, there were a lot of great levels that took advantage of the editor's potential, but the level that instantly stood out to me and left a lasting impact was Fez by Serpunj. Fez was unlike any other level released at the time. While people had recreated games in the editor with art before, Fez felt less like art taken from a game and more like a well-crafted journey to replicate the progression of the source material. Coming in at a full 3 minutes in length, Fez was unlike any other level at the time because of the long progression and journey the level takes you on. Fez is a demonstration of excellent thematic art and effects that are extremely impressive even on their own, but to be put all together in a full 3 minute level at the time was an experience that I don't think any other level ever came close to matching before it. Fez features fully custom art and backgrounds for the entire level. No part ever drags on too long, and there's a perfect balance of progression between parts shifting slowly from early morning to late at night as the level goes on, along with one of my favorite parts in any level at 20%, where Serpunj masterfully creates 3D cubes that rotate and guide your path into the next section of the level. To me, this is the point in the level that really sets the rest of the journey up, and also creates for a great contrast to the art done in every other part. To me, Fez is the best level in Geometry Dash because it was so far ahead of its time in its art, effects, progression, and even how well it was able to match the song used. While art has gotten more progressive and levels nowadays have seen similar progression in storytelling, Fez was able to put all of this together as one, and at a time where this was almost unheard of. I'm sure we all know Serpunj is a creative genius, but he really was a good 6 or 7 years ahead of his time with Fez.
I think it's going to be ultrasonic. I'd say that the level looks good and plays well, even for today's standards. The song, the level itself has a lot of character. Looks pretty awesome. You know, I have good memories of playing the level back in 1.9 as well. So, yeah, ultrasonic.
The Tempest by Rafer is my favorite level in the entire game because of the gorgeous visuals and the incredible story it tells while you play it. Being the third part in a series of levels, the Tempest had to live up to the expectations of its predecessors, and it far exceeded those. I mean, the incredible atmosphere, the way everything works with the song just blew me away the first time I played it. Everything was just perfect. Going for the coin just gives an alternate path that is a completely new level. Definitely worth playing if you haven't, so go do that. That is why the Tempest is my favorite level in the entire game. Alright, hopefully that's good. Right?
I personally think the best demon in Geometry Dash from an impact perspective is Cataclysm by G-Boy, simply because it had a huge butterfly effect in terms of levels, along with the Hell theme, which would dominate the theme of top levels in 1.9, and would receive a sequel, Bloodbath, which went on to become the most liked extreme demon in Geometry Dash, and it would stay as the #1 demon for almost 2 years, and was also the famous level Riot verified during the peak of the Riot vs Cyclic battle, which is one of the biggest events in GD history.
My taste tends to change quite a lot, but currently my favourite level in Geometry Dash is Delta Interface. I just love how the level uses the song. Every second of the level fully fits it. I also love the general intensity the level brings with it and its unique decoration. I really think Plant New Style is well made in general and tends to use detail to its fullest extent. And I really think that is brought out in Delta Interface. The level also just has extremely fun gameplay that I really enjoy, and I've spent a lot of time playing it, even though I'm not even close to good enough to beat it yet. So yeah, that's why Delta Interface is my favourite level.
As I'm mostly a player, I don't usually go into the deep analysis side of things when it comes to Geometry Dash levels. The best levels for me are the ones I have the greatest experiences with while playing them, and the ones that link the playing experience with the atmosphere in a way I can admire. This is why Falcon 16 is my choice, as it has all the elements that I've mentioned. The level throughout is incredibly fun gameplay and a very enjoyable atmosphere. I even enjoyed it just the same after several rebeats, as I had to play it more for the Demon List World Cup. The atmosphere is wonderful in this level, making you feel like you're on a high-speed adventure through the sky. The song also fits each part of the level so well, and it doesn't even feel like it's on purpose sometimes. For example, Potato Baby's part, which is the second part, has a more factory-like theme to it, which reflects that part of the song perfectly. Which, again, I don't think that was on purpose. And then the transition into Top's part as the song changed to a much lighter tone, as if you were sent to the sky. This perfectly complements the part appearing to be taking place on what appears to be either an airship or high-altitude floating islands. The speed of the drop part matches the intensity of the song so well, and the first two parts of it both reinforce the atmosphere of being in the sky. Liab's part and the part after it also feel very in line with the atmosphere of the level for me, being brightly colored and airship themed, I believe, for the second part. The level doesn't even seem to be trying that hard to create this atmosphere, which makes it even more impressive to me that it gives me the feeling it does. I think everyone who's able to play Extreme should play this as soon as possible, as it's an incredible level, and is basically the best experience with Extreme you can get. My rant about the theming is probably very personal, but it's fun at least, I promise. Okay, bye.
So my favorite level in the whole game is Interstellar Infant by Fault, and the reason for that is it has a really dynamic and synced gameplay, especially the UFO and the wave part at the drop. You can slide on diagonal structures and it's really awesome. Other than that, it's supposed to be a space-themed level, but it doesn't have anything to do with the space theme other than it's a really modernistic glow level. And the song is so happy. It's just a perfect level, in my opinion. And you should totally try it out if you don't know which level it is. It's pretty easy for an insane demon. You should try it out.
I don't play Geometry Dash much, so my answer is either PP or Boom Slayer.
If you were to ask me what my favorite XC demon would be, I would say who the fuck cares, right? It's just an XC demon. There's so many of them nowadays anyways. But if you really want an answer, I'll just have to say Bloodlust, because I was pretty closely involved with the verification. I mean, Nob's one of my best friends. I was in most of the Bloodlust streams, and I was talking to Nob like almost every day at the time. So to me, Bloodlust has a special place in my heart, really. And I feel like it was the last interesting verification as well. Like, who even cares about an Extreme Demon verification nowadays? Like every upcoming Extreme Demon nowadays is like a top one. So I don't feel like there's been any hype. Maybe Tartarus, because that was like a race, so that was kind of interesting. But I don't know. I don't feel like anybody really cares about Extreme Demons anymore, or top ones, or yeah. I am unbased as fuck probably, but
Thank you so much for watching this video the whole way through. I really appreciate it. Check out everyone's names in the description, and if your favourite level wasn't chosen, comment down below. I know my channel's all over the place right now, but I might focus on just making these types of videos, so if you enjoyed it, please leave a like, and I'll see you guys later.